What's up, guys? We're doing a final review on this Venator Hangar mock by the Brickening. And I am sorry that this took me so long. I just haven't felt the motivation to talk about this or make a video about this. But I had a couple people reach out to me about doing a final review on this mock. So here it is. Now before we start, sorry for the quality, just because I cannot move this outside of this shelf. As you can see, this is very large and heavy. Oh god. And when I built this, it was on a low table and I just slid it in. And even then, I was scared the midsection would break because the floor is just held by tiles and plates. So it is not very stable. It's this is something you can't move around unless you do have help. But even then, I'm pretty sure that this whole base area is just not that stable. So let's talk about the pros and cons. So obviously, first con, it's not very mobile. But again, this is a very large diorama. You're not really supposed to be moving that around. But again, it would have been nice if it was made to be taken apart, whatnot. But whatever. So pros and cons. First pro is the price. I only got this for $400 because this is a knockoff. Yes, as you can see, there's no Lego branding. This is just knockoff pieces. Pro is that you're getting it for basically half the price. If you wanted it with real pieces, cost you for anywhere from 800 to 1,000 plus, which is crazy. But that's how the market works. Now it is immoral to buy stolen mock instructions because they're not getting compensated in any form. There are knockoff Lego sites that do compensate the actual creators, which is actually really cool. But I did pay for the instructions to the actual dude. I also messaged him about Enzo Wolf. He's just AFK, bro. I think that's why Enzo Wolf is just being able to get away with selling the instructions. I do think he has stopped though, and he has stopped claiming that he designed this. But in the case with BrickBoss, I don't know if you guys seen that video, but he sent him a cease and desist order, and because of that, Enzo Wolf stopped selling his instructions and claiming that he designed it. But yeah, whatever. Well, let's leave that past behind. I think he's just drop shipping knockoff minifigs now, so I don't care about that. I only care if he is claiming that he is a designer of these mocks. And next and last pro is obviously this looks very cool. I mean, it is not minifig scale, so I guess you could see that as a con, but I know a lot of people don't really care about that. It is still looking very cool. And included is also a playability feature with that door in the back. Nothing too crazy. And you got a little bit of details over there. You got some doors, whatever those are supposed to be. But, it is definitely a good build. Especially if you want to have, let's say your mocks or sets, you want to place them down somewhere and make it look nice. This is definitely a cool build. Now for the cons, which there are so many, I do not recommend you get this because honestly, the building experience was terrible. Now, obviously these are knockoffs. They're not going to be the best quality of bricks. Some fittings, yeah, some fittings are a little bit too tight. It is just annoying sometimes, especially these rails. Now, the one I got, these support beams, they were so tight, I had to use a literal hammer to hammer these pieces together. So, definitely not the greatest experience. Sometimes you will get missing pieces. At least in the one I had, there were no missing pieces, so that was pretty nice. I actually got a bunch of extra pieces, so I guess that's also a pro. But these are knockoff pieces, so I don't really care about that. Just going off knockoff pieces, you will get slight discolorations. For example, I have this metallic plate for some reason, and if you see my past videos, I just can't really see it because the lighting is a little bit poor. Some of the grays are actually discolored. There is slight variation, so that is something to also look out for. But again, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Actually, you could just look here. This looks a little bit darker, this looks a little bit yellowish, and this is dark gray. So again, it's pros and cons. But the biggest reason why I do not recommend you get this is because it's not even a fault of the knockoff manufacturers. It's because of the actual creator, the Brickening. These instructions were the worst instructions I've ever seen in a mock. Again, I'll give him a point because this is very big and that would take forever. But at the same time, it is just poorly optimized, as well as the piece as well. The piece selection is poorly optimized, but also the fact that the instructions are so bad. Again, this is a very stressful building experience. I don't know if I still have the instructions on my laptop somewhere, but you could look at my past videos. I think I showed a couple steps. Just terribly optimized the pieces. For example, why are we using 1x1s here? And it's just very loose because of that instead of the longer wall panels 1x1s. Why are we using hold on, what is with all these different plates? I guess you could say it's for the detail, but again, it's you could have optimized the amount of pieces and lowered the piece count essentially, and made it more structurally intact instead of using 1x1s. These support beams. Okay, there's another example of knockoff studs not fitting, but oh my god, this was so annoying to build just because it was so repetitive and the structure is not that secure. But I wouldn't mind a terribly optimized piece if if the instructions were good. The instructions are terrible. It looks like he just used the make instructions feature on Bricklink and just called it a day. No edits whatsoever. There are parts where you build something and then you realize, oh, how does this connect? Because you have to build the part that goes before it after. So it's it's so annoying and it's not the same. This building experience would have been the same with this, if he did it correctly and just mirrored obviously, but no, it is different. So it's bro, what, you get so confused. And not even that, these wall panels in the back, and then of course like other parts as well. But I remember these wall panels especially, as well as the floor tiles on the back as well. He angled the cameras, or like not that he did, the computer did, so you just don't see exactly what you're supposed to do. So it's just like, bro, like it is so annoying. You have to use some of your brain sometimes. You have to like look at the reference picture sometimes. It's just like terrible, bro. I'm like, bro, like I can't believe I actually paid $15 for this, because honestly, like instructions like that, I do not, respect at all. It is just so terribly optimized. Piece count as, not piece count, but pieces as well as instructions. And the most annoying part is that he just said, oh, this is my first time building a big mock. Sorry. Are you serious, bro? You could have like at least added some text, or like just move the camera at the very least. So pros and cons. Pros, it looks cool and it's affordable compared to real Lego pieces. That is it. Cons, terrible building experience because it is knockoff pieces, and instructions. In my opinion, instructions outweigh the knockoff pieces, because knockoff pieces are knockoff pieces. Instructions, that is a problem with the actual creator. No effort put into instructions, which is why this build was so stressful. As well as poorly optimized pieces. Again, like he just like reuses, or like doesn't use a certain piece that could have been replaced with a better piece, in my opinion. And some honorable mentions that may or may not count as a con for you. It's not minifig scale. If you want minifig scale and you thought that was, it's not. And 2, stolen instructions from the actual creator, and he's not giving any compensation. That is the last knockoff mock I got, because after that, I started building my own mocks, and I don't want to support that as a mock creator myself now. But at the same time, if you are not going to take care in your instructions, and you're going to just put out slop and then charge $15 for that, I don't care. Honestly, you don't pay the bricketing. If you're not going to put effort into your instructions, not even a single bit. All he did was add a text at the end. Like I said, just said, oh, sorry, this is my first time making instructions. You didn't do shit, bro. All you did is put instruction maker. And then you said, charge $15 for that. Fuck that, bro. So yeah, there you go. Again, I do not recommend you get this, but if you do, just be prepared.